This is Apurva from Moms Believe. I hope you all are doing well and keeping safe. Allow me to introduce our today's guest. It is our great pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Vaikunta Raju, KN, an experienced and skilled doctor in his field of specialization. He is a professor of pediatric neurology at Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Healthcare, Bangalore. He has done DM in pediatric neurology at AIMS, New Delhi. He is editor and author of textbook on cerebral palsy. He has done many academic activities such as more than 120 med, 100 other peer review articles, 25 chapters in various textbooks, 250 abstracts, and 150 talks in conferences, to mention a few. He is a coordinator of Pediatric Neurology Fellowship at IGICH. In this webinar, Dr. Vaikunta will be addressing on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. A warm welcome, doctor. Thank you for joining with us today. Now, without any further ado, let's start. Over to you, doctor.
Okay. Thanks for introductions. At the outset, thanks for Moms Believe for giving the opportunity to speak on this subject. So basically, I'll be dealing about in general, not any specific, about hyperactivity, basically how to recognize and how to diagnose and in general principles, not in details about management. So what is exactly the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? So in this, there are three components. One is hyperactivity, other is inattention and impulsivity. So when do you call a child as an ADHD? So to label as an ADHD, it should be present in more than two places. Usually, normally children can be hyperactive in the home, normally in the toddler age group. But if it is present in more than two places, then you will call ADHD. Like for example, in the home, it should be present, and also other areas like schools, play area, and also neighborhood, it should be present. Then only we will label as an ADHD. And this should have these components. I'll be telling in detail each one. And usually the onset should be less than 12 years. Earlier used to call 6 years. Now recently it is labeled up to onset till 12 years can be labeled as an ADHD. So normally many parents ask that how to know that child is an ADHD really, or it is just in a normal variant child is hyperactivity. So there are many factors you should consider so that to label as a child really as an ADHD or just a normal hyperactive child. So most of the times in ADHD, child always fidgety, so he moves hands and feet constantly, and he is not able to sit at one place. He's supposed to be sit, and other children of the same age usually sits, but this child may not be able to sit, and he is always be in the mood of running and climbing all the time, and is difficult in following any rules as described by parents or a teacher. Is also often on the go and driven by a motor like that. And also they talks most of the times excessively, except in secondary ADHD. Secondary ADHD is the one where hyperactivity due to some of the medical conditions, where primary is ADHD is the only problem, but in neurologic condition, most of the times other neurological problems can be causing ADHD. So I'll be dealing with those in general. What is meant by impulsivity? Hyperactivity, as we told. Impulsivity is always the child has a tendency to do things without careful thought or planning. So child is answering questions before listening to full questions, and they have a difficulty in waiting for the turn. And often they will interrupt with somebody speaking or somebody doing some things. And always he interrupts his conversation or any activities when they are doing, parents also and the school also. So some parents can ask that they can concentrate in some activities, like if they're watching TV or mobile, they can concentrate, but other times child is active. Why do you call it an hyperactivity to my child? So to explain that, so this is a misconception by the parents, but they should understand that child should be able to concentrate in other activities, not only during watching TV or mobile. So you should also understand it is not any disease, but it is maybe some of the underlying medical condition or sometimes isolated ADHD can be there in the children. So there is a long history. It was identified almost 2 centuries back, and there is a various modification of ADHD terminologies and various things happen in the medical history, and what exactly the ADHD constitute and how to diagnose and how to treat. And there are some of the conditions, as I told, normally not only the children can be hyperactivity normally also, but there are other conditions in the medicine that can be mistaken for an ADHD. Like for example, mood or psychotic disorders. Like for example, in children commonly is autism children. So they can be having hyperactivity also along with along with autism, or some other psychiatric problems can be mistaken for an ADHD. So you should be always careful when you're diagnosing ADHD also. Sometimes anxiety disorders, especially in the older children, can mimic like a ADHD. The next common is learning disorder. Most of the times these ADHD children, usually they will be having normal IQ intelligence. No, most of the time that is primary ADHD. But these children, despite normal IQ, they have difficulty in performing the schools. So they'll be labeling as a learning problem or mentally retarded children. So identification of ADHD is very important, and because if we don't identify and manage appropriately, these children will be labeled as mentally retarded children, and they'll be labeled as learning problem children. They usually they will shift to some special schools that they can discontinue school. So any child with learning problem, especially in the school, you should always look for ADHD symptoms and it should be managed appropriately. So they can have normal IQ, but most of the time they are mistaken as intellectually disabled children and treated like that. And sometimes mental retardation children, that is intelligently low quotient children, can have ADHD also. Both can coexist in same child. So most of these children with low IQ, they can have a problem with attention and concentration. Both can be present in the same child, but you should identify hyperactivity in these children, because IQ cannot be improved with any medication, but their performance can be improved with modification of hyperactivity and attention. So just any child with mental retardation, you cannot label that it cannot be treated. We should always identify what are the associated problems. Like one of the things is ADHD, so that you can manage these children with appropriately and improvement in the school performance activities of life. Sometimes other disorders like other behavioral problems like psychiatric disorders, conduct disorder can be also mistaken for ADHD. As I told, autism. So autism and ADHD, most of the times it can coexist in the same child. So it should be identified separately, and because most of the time the treatment is also different and medications also sometimes required. So it should be identified separately. Sometimes substance abuse can be mistaken for ADHD in the older children. Sometimes psychosocial problem in the family, like familial abuse, all those things can cause ADHD, like mimicking things. The other condition that can mimic the ADHD is epilepsy in the children. So these children should be, usually in general, seizures are easy to identify in the older people like adult, but in children, there are many ways of they get seizures. Not only the shaking cannot be there all the time, they can have many types like focal seizures, absence seizure. These are difficult to identify by parents and even teachers. Sometimes even doctors cannot identify for years together. So whenever a child with ADHD child comes, you should always ask history of a subtle seizure, like absence seizure is the one. They will be getting seizures only for a few seconds. It is difficult to manage, difficult to identify. Unless if we don't identify these seizures and treat it appropriately, they can be labeled as an intellectual disability, mental retardation, and ADHD, and can be falsely diagnosed and without any proper treatment. So any child with ADHD should always look for any features suggestive of seizures, and it should be identified appropriately and treated appropriately also. But on the other hand, these children, epilepsy children, can also have ADHD, and some of the medications that are used for ADHD can also cause hyperactivity. So there are not exactly the separate entities that some children can have both the problem, but identification of these problems separately is very important. Other conditions, systemic condition that can mimic like ADHD is chronic otitis media. That is ear discharge going on for many years that can cause hearing impairment. So child cannot able to hear properly. So that child cannot understand, cannot obey comments, and they will be hyperactive. So you should always look for any problem in the hearing, and you should identify and treat appropriately. And other common problem, the thyroid problem can also cause ADHD. Usually in general, children's low thyroid, that is hypothyroidism, is very common. Hyperthyroidism is very rare, but hypothyroidism usually will not cause ADHD. Hyperthyroidism, that is rare condition in children, that can cause thyroid ADHD. Then sleep apnea. If child has any problem, problems related to sleep problem, maybe lack of sleep because of problem in getting sleep, they can have sleep arrest, and they can have improper sleep. They cannot able to concentrate properly in the daytime and school also. So you should identify what the problem, whether baby is able to sleep properly, any problems causing sleep irregularity, maybe breathing problem, child is overweight. All these problems can cause sleep problem, and they can also mimic like ADHD. And drug-induced, some drugs can, especially those drugs that are used for children with epilepsy, can cause these ADHD symptoms. So you should always take into consideration any drugs that can cause these symptoms. And any injury to the brain, like one of the most common problem in India is birth-related injury to the brain. And also later in the accidents can cause injury to the brain that can cause ADHD in the later life. Some of the toxins also can cause ADHD. Most common is lead exposure because of increased pollution can cause ADHD. Sometimes daytime sleepiness, this is one of the condition narcolepsy will cause. They will go for sleep immediately within few seconds when even they're talking also. This is a different entity. You should identify and treat it appropriately with proper medication. So these are various conditions. Before labeling as a child as just an ADHD, you should look into all these conditions and identify, because the treatment and diagnosis is entirely different compared to the regular ADHD children. So why do you want to identify these children with ADHD and treated appropriately? There are many reasons. So these children should be identified. There are many problems in identification. Also, if you don't identify these problems, they can have various other problems, like they may not able to succeed in the school. They have failures in the school. They're not able to get proper education level, and they may not get proper occupation. And there will be, when child has these problems, there will be a problem in the family also. So a lot of problems happens in the family, and they have a difficulty in making friendship also, so that it is difficult to learn. And they will go for antisocial behavior like drug abuse, smoking, all those things, especially in the older age group, like adolescent age group. Not only drug, other drug abuse can be there. Again, they can have other problems related to reproductive life also in the adolescent age group. So these are very common. When they start driving, or if they maybe they can usually they start driving early, and they can prone for accidents because they're not able to concentrate properly. So this is also very common. And there are various violations for this driving. And even if they get proper occupation, they have difficulty in maintaining that job for a longer time because of these concentration problems. So there are various problems if we don't identify this ADHD problem in children and treated appropriately. So it should be identified and treated properly. So as I already discussed, hyperactivity children always runs, and they are difficult to maintain. Is already explained. And not only ADHD present in the children, but they can now same ADHD can present in the adult, but in different forms. I will explain in details. This is a recent change in the ADHD classification. I'm not going to details. There is some changes that earlier used to say that ADHD usually starts before 6 years, but now it can be seen after 6. It can start after 6 years also. There are some changes I'll be going to discuss later. So how common is this ADHD? That it is very common neurological disorders compared to any other disorders. Like in the US, there are no exact figures in the India because of lack of any studies. So in the US, it is shown in the school-going children, it is seen up to 5 to 7% of the children have these problems. And it may be more common in India because of various reasons like birth-related problem, intellectual disability, not able to recognize properly. So it is almost 1 in 10 children can have these problems. So it is very important to recognize properly. And in general, it is more common in boys compared to girls. So it should be identified in boys very commonly and identify and recognize early. This is the same thing. It is showing that various countries shows that the percentage of ADHD is almost equivalent. It is seen in most of the other countries also. Up to 5% of the children can have this problem. So sometimes if some child is suffering from ADHD, like parents also, or sometimes other sibling is suffering, there will be an increased risk compared to general population, they can get ADHD. So it is some amount genetic problem also plays a role in this ADHD symptom. So as I told, usually ADHD changes over a period of time. Initially in the first 3 or 6 years of age, usually they can have hyperactivity. Hyperactivity is moving all the time, here and there. Physically, you can see it is easy to identify hyperactivity that can be seen in commonly in small children less than 6. Afterwards, it will be changed to impulsivity. As I told, they cannot wait for their turn. Later in the adult, usually we will see commonly inattention. They are not able to attention properly. So it changes. Even the ADHD says that it should be all the components should be there, but sometimes as the child grows, initially hyperactivity component is more, and as they grow in the adults, you may not see hyperactivity. They can have inattention. So it is difficult to diagnose most of the times in adults compared to children because they may not be hyperactive, may not be diagnosed most of the times in their lifetime, and they can have a lot of problem in the family life and their lifespan also. So to label as an ADHD, all the 3 components is not required. So there is a hyperactivity component, also inattention separately can be there. So as I told, inattention can persist for lifelong, but hyperactivity and impulsivity will decrease as they grow older. So it is same thing showing that as they grow, usually the hyperactivity component decrease. So the recent study shows there is a recent increase in the incidence and prevalence of this ADHD. There are various reasons they're explained. One of the reasons may be increased recognition by the physician, maybe recent recognition by doctors or any other treating physician. They'll be aware that ADHD is there, and the facilities also very commonly there, and recognition is by doctors maybe the reason for why there is an increase in recent ADHD. Or there may be a true prevalence, maybe true reason, maybe the reason for the increase in the ADHD. And also other reasons like there are other diagnostics that can be easily administered, and improvement in the diagnostic category by various paramedical persons also may be the reason for the increased incidence of this problem. And there may be other factors that this can be treated with the various medication and various behavioral problem also. Maybe parents also aware, they may come and seek advice from the doctors. And other one of the reason maybe there will be increased demand in the especially the metropolitan cities that every child wants to be come first rank and merit. So that may be the increased demand for the teachers, so that the parents can may seek doctor's advice. And maybe in a changing parental habits because of nuclear families not able to spend much time with children, maybe they're preoccupied with their own care. And maybe some of the pharmaceutical companies influencing these medicines, that may be the reason. So various reasons that overall there will be an increase in the incidence of prevalence of this ADHD compared to older, or maybe 10 years back. As I told, this is the same repetition. There are various problems you can face if you don't recognize and treat, like academic problems, relationship with friends, and later in the life also low self-esteem and not able to mingle with other children, injuries, smoking, drug abuse, accident. There are various problems you can get if you don't treat properly. So this other entities, whether this is already told that can be ADHD, can be associated with other problems also. So as I'll be discussing, this ADHD can be present, coexist with other conditions also. So not only this is ADHD. So these same children, as already discussed, they can have other psychiatric comorbidities like anxiety disorder, conduct disorders, tics, many other psychiatric disorders can coexist in the same child also. So this is also again showing that the rhotropic oxidants are more common in this red bar showing ADHD children compared to control population, because they are not able to control their anger and other things. And there'll be associated increased medical cost because these children visits for various reasons for hospitals. So there'll be increased cost for medical expenditure with these children compared to normal people. And as I told, there is increased abuse of substance abuse in these children compared to normal people. This is the same thing showing that various problems they can get in their daily life. So as I told, there is what happens exactly the naturally if they don't treat and recognize, or even if we treat the ADHDs, 1/3 of children can complete resolution can be there after a few years. But sometimes they continue to have inattention, but hyperactivity and impulsivity can decrease. And 1/3 of children develop other psychiatric problems like difficulty in achieving proper academics and also substance abuse, all these other psychiatric problems they can develop. So as I told, this phenomenology ADHD will changes over a period of time. Coming to various reasons for this ADHD, so exactly nobody knows what exactly the reason, but there are some factors that are contributed exactly. Some are genetic, some may be related to acquired brain injury also. There is, as I told, it is more common in the same families, so there will be a risk of genetic problem also. There is various genetic problems that can be seen, like if somebody is affected in the family, like a child, sibling, or the parents or other family, there will be increased risk in these children. And other factors other than genetic, various other conditions are very common in India, especially the perinatal period where birth of the baby happens, where there will be a lot of injuries happen to the brain, like cerebral palsy, birth injury. So these children, even though they cannot develop severe mental retardation, even minimal injury to the brain at the time of birth, and not only the birth injury, if they born very early or baby's birth weight is low, these factors can cause a long-term problem like ADHD without other manifestations. So even though they looks very minimal, these children can develop ADHD symptoms. These may be the reason for ADHD in that specific child. You should always look for this. So these children, as I told, they have difficulty in functioning. So they can have all these problems. Diagnosis, as I told, there is no medical test like any investigation to diagnose ADHD. These tests are basically required to diagnose the reason for ADHD. But most of the times by neurologists or psychiatrists, if they're able to identify most of the factors leading for ADHD, so if their tests are required, usually they can order any test like EEG, if they're suspecting seizure or a brain injury. If there is a brain injury, you can order for CT or MRI. So these tests are genetic tests, metabolic tests will be based on the child's condition or family history. So these tests will be considered only by doctors. So most of the times ADHD itself, that is only isolated ADHD, requires only assessment and what is the severity, and those should be monitored before treatment and also after treatment. That is very important to assess when if treatment is functioning or not. Basically, it is a clinical diagnosis by interviewing the child, not only child and other family members like in the school and also other places. You should take all these details to consider diagnosis of ADHD. Basically, it is a questionnaire. Various questionnaires are there so that I can diagnose and also grade what is exactly the severity of the ADHD. So no need of doing any tests specifically to look for ADHD diagnosis. So this test, as I told, basically for diagnosing the cause for ADHD, if at all, if you are suspecting on clinical history and also examination finding. So test has a minimal role except to diagnose and also grading of the ADHD. Coming to the management, there are various types of management available for ADHD. One is pharmacological with drugs. I will not be going to the drugs. So otherwise, a non-pharmacological management with various therapies. So initially, when you are seeing the child, as I told, you should have a diagnosis before going for a treatment. So to diagnose ADHD, as I told, there are two types of ADHD. One is ADHD condition where it is the only symptom, but in other condition, ADHD can be associated with underlying neurological problems like epilepsy, mental retardation, or other medical conditions. So you should identify whether child is suffering from ADHD or associated comorbid conditions. So, and you should appropriately manage. So associated conditions also, not only coordination. For this, it may require other paramedical and also other expert opinion like psychiatrists, sometimes neurologists, sometimes pediatrician, or other subspecialty doctors also. So the team should be there to manage these children with appropriately. It is a multidisciplinary team, so you should involve all members to train this, not only the patient, family, and also sometimes may require dietitian, social service person, and also various other subspecialty doctors also to manage this condition. So one of the main management is non-pharmacological therapies for ADHD. That is managing the child without using any medications. So in this, there are various methods like behavioral therapy, and there is a psychoeducation. Other one is exercise and diet. So I'll be telling in detail a little bit about each components where we are not using any drugs. So this is important for all types of ADHD. Any child with ADHD, irrespective of severity of ADHD, you should advise these therapies for all children. So medications usually will advise when there is more severe ADHD and child is not able to manage this condition, then only will consider medication. So these are some of the things we can see in the behavioral therapy. So you should have proper routine in the home that child should follow when child is doing any work in the home, and you should avoid distraction when child is doing work, like example, watching TV or mobile with other child or parent, that should be avoided. And you should have a disciplinary effectively when child is doing some work. And these ADHD child, as I told, they are not mentally retarded. They may be interested in some activities, especially sports like swimming and other things. You should identify any talent in that child and you should focus more on that. So there are very other activities, not only the reading and writing. You should identify other talents in that specific child. You should be focused on that also. And you should always be set a model for the children that you should be always organized. So you should put everything in a specific space in the home so that the child has a difficult, not have any difficulty in getting ready for anything like reading or writing or going to school. And should not ask always or give any complex questions or answer. You should have a simple questions to understand one at a time, so that they will learn properly. And you should always encourage the child with proper rewards when child is doing good jobs. So in the behavioral therapy, you should always have positive communication, and you should always reinforce the child when child has done a good job, and you should always maintain discipline in the home. So it is the same thing, you have a good relationship with the family. So some of the things that helpful is managing behavioral therapies. You should have a proper plan, like writing down your most important activity that should be done for the child, and you should have maintenance of proper time, which time they should do what should be done. This plan should be maintained for the children so that it is easy. Same thing also for homework and how to manage behavior also. So some of the simple calm down tools are you can give some instruction like sitting on a chair if baby is not able to maintain properly, or keeping feet on the floor. These some of the activities you can teach for the child so that child can maintain the attention for a shorter time also. If we are doing repeatedly these activities, so that children can improve their concentration and behavior also. So organizing skills, as I already told, is important. You should organize skills appropriately based on child's age and also availability of resources, so that the child should not waste time. So coming to the diet, there are various diet that has described causing ADHD. So in general, basically the important thing that are proven also, many mineral deficiencies can cause ADHD. Most common is iron deficiency anemia, that is commonly neglected in children. So simple iron deficiency can cause hyperactivity in these children. So always you should look for anemia and iron deficiency. It is a simple nutrient if you correct properly, so that they will improve in the concentration. So all children should have look for iron deficiency anemia. That is the most common thing. So you should always supplement with iron properly, and various other minerals, not only iron, that is the most common, but other minerals like zinc, carnitine, various other minerals. If you don't give proper food, especially if it's not a balanced food, because of nowadays fast foods are very common, they don't have proper balanced nutrition. It is even though they looks obese, but they will not be having proper nutritious food. So you should always identify what exactly the deficiency, and you also try to advise that they should have proper home-based food as much as possible, so that all nutrients and minerals can be there in that food. So if there is a deficiency, sometimes this deficiency can be recognized by looking at the child by doctor, but sometimes may not be very easy. So as much as possible, it will recognize the deficiency. If there is a deficiency, you can supplement these so that children can improve. So some of the foods that are rich in DHA, that is omega fatty acids, all improves concentration also, like various vegetables and also various nuts. It are very useful to improve the concentration. There is a definite deficiency is there, they will improve. So various controversial foods also there. One of the controversial gluten-free diet and casein-free diet, they are not approved, but some children and parents feel that, especially if it associated with ASD, they can have some improvement they can notice. And you should also have a proper timetable, what exactly they should prepare in the home. So weekly or daily basis, so that they can have a proper balanced diet in the home also, not only the child, other members in the family. So they can maintain a regular diet chart with combination of all nutrients. Some of the food that should be avoided because that can definitely cause hyperactivity. So these are some of the food like sugars, especially simple sugars, should be avoided because they can increase hyperactivity. This gluten, as I told, gluten is a wheat and wheat product. They are not proved, but some of the children, they can have aggravate. If it is noticed that you need inattention, hyperactivity behavior, that you can avoid gluten. Some condition like celiac disease, a condition where they cannot digest gluten, where it should be avoided. And some of the dairy products that also not proven problem. Some children may not be able to digest, and they can have allergic to dairy product. That also should be avoided. Caffeine, especially, better not to give in small babies. The various other preservative that is commonly seen in fast food, that should be avoided because it can itself can cause hyperactivity. So these are various fast food that should be avoided in children as much as possible, especially not as a routine basis. Maybe once in a while they can take. So this is again same things, it should be avoided as much as possible. So as I told, this is a list of various wheat and gluten and casein foods that should be, if you are thinking that your child is suffering from this, this is not general rule for all the babies. You should be avoided as much as possible. And simple sugar, as I already told, it should be avoided because it will improve the concentration problem immediately after taking these foods. So as much as possible, these simple sugars should be avoided. And you should always encourage the foods rich in omega-3, as I already told. It should be nuts and dairy and nuts and this meat and meat products. Egg also, they are good in omega-3. Should be advised if they are able to take properly. Similarly, these are the other products that are rich in omega foods, and also some of the minerals, they are rich, so that if there is a deficiency, they will improve with attention and concentration. So coming to the medication, as I already told, medication not required for all types of ADHD. If it is a moderate or severe ADHD after 6 years, if they are not able to manage, that time it requires medications. There are various medications that are present. So we should consider the child condition along with the other comorbid condition, like child is suffering from autism, if child is suffering from epilepsy or tics. So some of the medication should not be used if child is suffering from epilepsy with ADHD. So doctor should aware that child is suffering not only ADHD, the child has an epilepsy also, so that some medication can increase the seizures chances. Those are used in ADHD. So those medications should not be used. Some of the other comorbid condition like autism and also liver and kidney problems should be considered before considering these medications. So medication usually will consider moderate and severe ADHD, not in all children, if they are not able to manage with behavioral and diet therapy and other things. So what are the long-term effects? So if we treat properly, there'll be improved long-term academic success if their children are treated properly. If not untreated, they'll be grown for many problems as already discussed. So usually these medication, if they are indicated, they can have good results and they will improve overall outcome. So if there is a children, as I already told, somebody is affected or parents are affected, there will be a likelihood of increasing risk of children born with ADHD. So our stimulants are protective, especially these medications sometimes definitely helpful. So if they're indicated, doctor will decide that medication should be given or not. So based on that, parents can decide. So as I told, there'll be a problem with the parents also. If there is a problem with ADHD in the family, there will be a more risk of children getting ADHD, and there will be an increased risk of depression and family discord. And there will be a need of modification in the family work also. And again, same risk can be there with next baby also. Some of the things that should be done in case of ADHD also, you should suspect early and they should diagnose early, so that outcome will be better if you start training and teaching him early. And you should have access early and appropriate health care. You should not go from here and there without proper advice from the same doctor. So, and you should have also advise proper intervention. Like sometimes may not require all the children medication, what treatment should be given and should be started appropriately. And once if it diagnosed, the treatment also should be started as soon as possible. Once it start, then only the outcome will be good. And you should always be in the positive mood. They should not decide that it will not going to improve. It will not be, it will be there for lifelong. So there are many measures that can improve the child. And you should also have a expectation from good results, and you should follow regularly with the doctor so that modification may require each time based on child's improvement or deterioration. And some of the things you should not do is, so you should not blame the child or scold the child because you may not be doing intentionally because he is not under control. That may be the reason. And you should also not blame the parents because this child is doing like that. And you should also not think that child will not become better later. So that is not thing. Usually they will improve as they grow. And you should also not interrupt too much things for the child. You should not be too stringent as to or more confident also all the time. So to conclude, ADHD is a very common condition, especially in pediatric age group, and misdiagnosis, as I told, is very common. Most one of the condition is they were not able to diagnose early because you think it is a common overactive child. Other thing is most of the other neurological psychiatric disorder can be there in the same child. And assessment is very important to at the baseline and also to follow the treatment intervention, what exactly they requires. So non-pharmacological, that is non-medication, plays an important role in all the severity of ADHD, and medication are important in case of moderate and severe ADHD. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. We have some questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
I request you to please address them. Should I read it for you?
Yeah.
So Shanvi Kapoor is asking, sir, whether every shy-sure kid undergoing treatment for some develops ADHD.
No, every child may not develop. So neurologically, some children develop. Not all children will develop. The chance of ADHD is more if there is associated with autism, or if there is a mental retardation or cerebral palsy. But not all neurological children may not have ADHD.
Okay. So next question is by Richa.
Yeah,
What is difference between ADHD and ASD?
ASD is autistic spectrum disorders, where autism is the main features. Where autism, there is a difficulty in communication. They are not able to follow simple instruction. Only if they're interested, they will follow some instruction. And their speech is a main problem in that condition. So not mingling with other children, social interaction is very less. ADHD is hyperactive. Their speech is not at all an issue. But what happens in some children, both can be there. That time the parents can be mistaken. But in general, ADHD, there'll be normal speech and normal communication. But ASD usually poor communication and less speech. But both can coexist in the same child in some conditions.
All right. So next question is by Prince J. Are there any tests to detect if ADHD is caused by head injury? Sorry.
Can you repeat question?
Are there any tests to detect if ADHD is caused by head injury?
Cured by injury?
Head.
Head injury.
Yeah.
So as I told, usually ADHD can be due to genetic or acquired brain injury. Any injury to the brain, like especially in India, most common is at the time of birth, lack of oxygen, lack of glucose. This can cause injury to the brain. These children prone for ADHD. So these children also can have sometimes mental retardation, learning problem, all those problems. So in this condition, if you are suspecting, doctor will advise tests to confirm the diagnosis. So where not only the treatment for ADHD, those children may require other type of intervention also. So they can benefit with that thing.
Okay. Next question is by Dilip Chatwal. If pregnant mother live in highly pollution area, that child on birth have the problem of ADHD?
Yeah, there are many environmental pollution, as I told, like some air pollution, like smoking, drug abuse. These are going to cause ADHD in the babies. So it should be avoided as much as possible.
Okay. Hyperactivity and inattentiveness, how to be overcome by 6 years old child?
Yeah, as I told, hyperactivity, as I already told, there are 3 methods. One is behavioral therapy, diet, and pharmacological treatment. It is mild form. We should have a behavioral therapy. So that, as I already told, organization of skills, and they should be engaged with the activities of the child. So he should be organized. He should give proper instruction and what exactly they should do. And these activities, behavioral therapy will helpful definitely. And if there is a deficient in some of the things, the diet can be definitely helpful. And you should engage with some other activities, not only the schooling, so that they can spend more time with sports activities, so that they will spend more energy with those activities, so they will they can have less hyperactivities.
Okay. So, sir, please explain CPTs in non-studying hyperactive child.
Can you repeat once more?
Please explain CPTs in non-studying hyperactive child.
CPT?
Yeah.
CPT, what is CPT?
Okay. So we can go for next.
CBT? Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, CBT. So there definitely that is the overlap. They'll usually call various names for this training. So basically that is definitely a useful mode of treatment. So that will improve attention span, cognition also improve. So if it is available, they can start and they should continue. It is definitely has a major role.
Okay. So participants, if you ask a question directly, you can simply raise your hand. I will unmute you and you can simply ask your question. Okay. Yeah, Realme 7 Pro. Yeah, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I want to ask about HI disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this disease, which therapies are important?
HI means hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy.
Yes, yes, sir.
See, as I told, hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy is the most common condition in India because of lack of proper care at the time of birth. So there are various degrees. HIE usually commonly produces cerebral palsy or epilepsy. Sometimes mild HIE can cause ADHD children and learning problems. They may not have cerebral palsy. So as I told, if it is associated with other problem with cerebral palsy learning problems, you should manage based on that. If there is epilepsy, it should be treated also. If it is only pure ADHD, we can manage as already discussed. Previous parameters should be taken.
Okay. Actually, my daughter is 5-year-old. She's diagnosed with HIE.
Yeah.
And she's less mild HIE there.
Yeah. So mild HIE only they can they may not have any walking problem much an issue. So they'll be having hyperactivity is a major issue. So major issue means that is a predominant feature compared to a walking problem, all those things. So they should be managed like any other ADHD as already discussed.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay. Next we have Shivani Kapoor. Shanvi Kapoor, sorry.
Sir, good evening, sir. So my
Good evening.
question is whether these kids can be given corona vaccination.
Yeah, currently it is not approved in children at this age. If it is available, it is not in a contrary. They can go with the vaccination.
Sir, अगर इन्होंने ट्रीटमेंट उसकी भी ली होगी, सीजर्स की भी ट्रीटमेंट ली होगी, तो हम दे सकते हैं इनको?
Yeah, दे सकते हैं. Already बड़ा वालों को with seizures with neurological problem not an issue. They can go for vaccination.
Sir, next question is
Yeah.
वो CPT था common progressive test. अगर बच्चा पढ़ नहीं रहा तो उसमें हम common progressive test कहाँ से देखेंगे?
Okay. Yeah, they are useful for managing the child definitely to assess any improvement is there compared to baseline after intervention. If it is available, it is good.
The next question is that my child is seizure free. He is now.
Okay.
And he is autistic child and with the behavior issues are there in him. So
Okay.
he was put on ariprazole.
Okay.
For 3 years. For how many
Okay.
years we have to continue, sir?
No, that you need to reassess how he has improved with all these behavioral problems. So if there is a significant improvement, is okay with the behavior, it can decrease and stop slowly. So basically, ariprazole are behavioral issues, okay, like stereotypic movements and repetitive things.
Yes,
All
sir.
those
Yes,
things.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can stop that if he has improved.
Yeah, if you cannot stop suddenly, you should be decreased and stop slowly.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ramesh, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, see how the hyperactivity happens in the children, sir. What is the reason?
Reason, as I told, many reasons. One, it can be a genetic issue or other conditions related to brain injury. Brain injury can be many things. It can be genetic, it can be birth-related problem, or it can be accident, or it can be brain fever. So any injury to the brain can cause hyperactivity.
Okay, that can be cured, no, sir?
Yeah, that depends on severity. If mild, usually they will overcome with training, and moderate severe also they will improve, but some problems can be persist lifelong unless if you don't recognize and treat properly.
Okay, sir, one more question.
Yeah.
Like how my son is around 3.5 years old.
Okay.
How to tell whether the child is in speech delay or autism or he's hyperactive?
See, in the speech delay, if child has any speech delay, they have only problem in speaking, but they will respond for the name, they will mingle with other children, social interaction, communication, they will follow any instruction and consistently all the time, not one time. Out of 10 times, one time following is not good. If they are following all the time and everything is okay, only speech is a problem. But if it is an ASD, they have a speech problem along with they will not follow proper instruction. They will be their own world. They will not mingle with other children. That is an ASD. In ADHD, usually speech is not the issue. They will be speaking most of the times. But sometimes they can have both ASD and ADHD, as I told earlier.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay, Pavan Verma, you can ask your question.
मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि ADHD के किड्स के लिए स्विमिंग सही है या स्पोर्ट्स में जैसे दौड़ वगैरह ये सब सही रहती है? Is swimming good for ADHD kids?
Yeah, for ADHD, swimming and other sports are good. For epilepsy, if somebody is suffering from epilepsy, usually swimming is not advisable, because if they get any attack, they can drown also. So those children with active seizures, swimming should not be advisable. So ADHD children, swimming is good.
Okay, next is Rose. Rose, you can ask your question.
Good evening, sir. My question to you is, my son is 4 years old,
Okay.
and he has little, he's not hyper, not too much hyper, he's less hyper, but he has little attention issues and with delayed speech as an expressive speech.
Yeah.
Could it be much of screen time because he was exposed to screen from very early age? Increased
Yeah, that is very common nowadays. So because one of the reason for exactly nobody knows, but one of the reason for increasing ASD is the increased attachment to these gadgets. So they are not spending more time with the environment, other people, and because of nuclear families and urbanization, these are some of the factors. So as much as possible, it is better to decrease, and you should spend more time with the child actively. So that may be the reason, one of the reasons. It is a mild form.
Thank you, sir. Also,
Yeah.
Also, doctor, in case of speech,
Hmm.
what can overcome expressive speech? How can I make him more expressive? He has
See,
speech, but
more expressive, you should find out any local problem is there, like mouth, lips or tongue, any local problem is there. Expressive is the only problem. And some speech techniques like oromotor exercises, like some activities, blowing, ballooning. So these activities with the help of speech therapies, they will improve the expression of speech.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Preeti.
Yes.
Hello, sir. My name is Preeti.
Yeah.
My child is 4 and 2 years, actually, 4.2
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
Actually, he having something in hand full day.
Yeah. Mm.
And he never, despite him from him, whenever I took the any object from him, he just what I say, बहुत गुस्सा हो जाता है या फिर उसको कुछ चीज चाहिए रहती है और उसका ऐसा है कि वो चीज वो दिन भर लेके घूमेगा.
Yeah.
और
So
उसका कूदना और भागना, नींद उसकी होती है प्रॉपर, पर उसको अगर सुलाए तो सोता है, ऐसा नहीं सोता. और उसमें डाइट प्रॉपर है उसका, पर ये अगर हम कोई चीज का कम्युनिकेट करते हैं तो वो बात नहीं करता प्रॉपरली, क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स नहीं देते. जब उसको पता रहता ये क्वेश्चन के आंसर है, लेकिन वो बोलता नहीं है. और उसका और एक प्रॉब्लम है कि जैसे वो रिपीटेडली कोई चीज रिपीट करता था ऑन एनी टाइम. है कि मेरा बॉल वहां गिरा है, साइकिल गिर गई है, लाइक दैट. तो इसको हम लोग हाइपर एक्टिविटी में कंसीडर कर सकते हैं क्या?
No, he has most of the features. इसको ये autism बोलते हैं. ऐसे features ज्यादा है. Repetitive things करते और always the time you are telling he is keeping something there and he is not ready to leave, and less communication. More features more in favor of autism. Maybe some component of ADHD can be there. So most of the what you were told is autism features ज्यादा है.
Okay. तो इसके लिए कंसल्टेंट अगर करना है तो किससे करें?
कंसल्ट करना, उसको यूजुअली ट्रेनिंग शुरू करना, उसमें कम नहीं होते, समटाइम्स मेडिसिन देना पड़ेगा उसको, बिकॉज इफ ही इज डूइंग सेम थिंग ही मे नॉट लर्न अदर एक्टिविटीज आल्सो.
ये एक्टिविटीज फिजिकली करता है अगर मैं उसको राइटिंग
फिजिकली ओके, बट कम्युनिकेशन, इफ वांट्स टू जॉइन टू द स्कूल दे विल आस्क क्वेश्चन, इफ यू डोंट आंसर दे विल नॉट अलाउ. सो कम्युनिकेशन आल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट.
यस, राइट. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Amrut Majumdar, you can ask your question.
Sir, good evening. This is Amrut Majumdar.
Yes.
I wanted to know, sir, which psychological inventory should be used to have a diagnosis of ADHD?
So anything is okay. There is no specific thing. Basically, they are basically sometimes meant to assess the severity initially and to follow the progress after intervention. And sometimes they require for some school admissions also. So same thing should be maybe corner staging can be followed regularly, same pattern also. So unless if you are not doing any research, it is okay, not an issue.
But any specific inventory, if you can suggest.
But staging, corner staging is okay for follow-up of the child in various places, not only the family, but in the school and also other places also, to see the improvement.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Gitika, you can ask your question.
गुड इवनिंग सर।
Good
सर
evening.
मेरा बेटा 4.6 इयर्स का है।
Okay.
उसको स्पीच भी उसकी डिले स्टार्ट हुई थी। सर एक्चुअली करता क्या है, टॉयज से जैसे खेलता है, ब्लॉक्स वगैरह मांगता है बहुत, लेकिन सर उन सबको बस फेंक फेंक के खेलता है। मतलब प्रॉपर अरेंजमेंट में नहीं खेलता, उन सबको फेंकता रहता है, उसको फेंकने में मजा आता है। और सर कोई चीज अगर हाथ में मांगो तो बहुत जल्दी हाथ में नहीं था, उसको भी फेंक के ही देगा। ऑनलाइन क्लासेस चल रही है सर, उसमें बहुत ज्यादा अटेंशन पे नहीं करता है। बाकी चीजें जो प्रॉपर स्कूल के जो क्वेश्चन आंसर मैम बताती हैं वो सारे उसको मतलब प्रॉपर वे में याद हो जाते हैं, मैं करवाती हूँ, सब कर लेता है। लेकिन सर यही बिहेवियर हमें थोड़ा परेशान कर रहा है कि जैसे ये खेलता है कोई चीज, उसको फेंकता ज्यादा है सर, अटेंशन पे कम है सर। तो सर क्या ये ADHD में आता है?
So ADHD में भी आप बोल रहे थोड़ा थोड़ा सिम्टम्स लग रहे, बट
किसी भी जगह एक मतलब पूरे दिन में एक जगह कहीं भी मतलब 5 मिनट भी बैठा नहीं दिखता। अगर फोन देख रहा है तो वो 1 घंटे बैठ सकता है, लेकिन अगर वैसे सर 5 मिनट के लिए भी कहीं नहीं बैठे दिखता, बस दिन भर।
थोड़ा सिम्टम्स ऐसा लग रहे हैं, सो उसको असेसमेंट करना जरूरी है। उसको रियली है नॉर्मल हाइपर एक्टिव चाइल्ड, उनको दूसरा जगह में नॉट ओनली होम, दूसरा नेबरहुड और स्कूल में, अभी स्कूल तो नहीं है, दूसरा जगह में ना ऐसा करते हैं यूजुअली, असेसमेंट करके ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा अर्ली।
अच्छा सर क्या करना पड़ेगा, साइकोलॉजिस्ट को दिखाएं?
हाँ, साइकोलॉजिस्ट को दिखाना, देख के बताएंगे, असेसमेंट करके ADHD है, इट इज नॉर्मल बिहेवियर, उसके बाद ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा, बिहेवियर थेरेपी।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Sharmila, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions, sir.
Yes.
My son is 4.5 years old, and he has some typical features of ASD is there, but these are subsiding day by day, what I think as a mother. But now hyperactivity is an issue after this lockdown. Hyperactivity is an issue. So two things I'm struggling with, sir. Number one is putting him to sleep. Unless he gets too tired, it is he doesn't want to sleep. Khelna hai, I want to play. Why are you putting me to sleep? This is the thing. He would just like his expression and his whatever speech he has, he would say, I don't want to sleep. I know sleeping. He would say typically no sleeping. Okay. This is the thing I'm struggling with. Agar so jata, if he sleeps, then he will sleep for hours. There is no issue. But unless he gets too tired, means like कमर तोड़, मतलब जैसे मेहनत करने के बाद ही उसको वो issue.
So इसको most probably some ASD children, it is a mild form, usually they will outgrow, they will be like a normal child also. That is a good thing only. Regarding sleep, is some children, these children has sleep problems will be there, where especially getting sleep because of lot of interaction, distraction in the home. You should maintain regular sleep pattern as much as possible, and in the home also you should be switched off all the lights, and other noise should not be done. And regular sleep pattern should be maintained, and should give some activities, physical exercise, maybe just going before in the evening or time, so that you'll get proper sleep. There's some idea.
Another question, sir, regarding diet, sir. How would I know if my child is having gluten or casein allergy? Do they indicate like if a person has egg allergy, immediately rashes appear or he vomits or maybe wheezing occurs? Like gluten or casein, do we have similar symptoms? Because my son doesn't have that. How would I know?
See, gluten is, if it is South India, it is less common. North India, it is very common. So they'll be having other features also. They have a problem in gaining weight and loose stools, diarrhea. These are some of the features, not only the ASD or ADHD. So if that is there, you should think, okay, otherwise.
Yes, sir, please.
if it is a milk allergy, usually some children they can now get vomiting sensation. They're not able to digest proper milk, especially milk product. They can get stomach ache also. They will be having difficulty in gaining weight. So if these features are there, then you should think.
If they are not there, what to do, sir?
Usually, if they're not there, usually the evidence does not show that all children will benefit with these diets. If child is a severe problem, we can try with these pre-diet for 3 months. You can observe if there is an improvement, you can continue. Otherwise, it can discontinue.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you can ask your question. 7D.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
मैम सर मैं हेलो आवाज आ रही सर?
या you can speak. बोल सकते
सर. हाँ सर है ना, मेरा बेबी है 16 महीने का है और है ना उसका MRI का रिपोर्ट आपको बताना था, तो रिपोर्ट में पढ़ के बता सकती हूँ? सर हाइपर इंटेंसिटी सीन इन bilateral BILATERAL syndrome and semi-alveolar showing increased choline level with the reduced creatine level, however, or NAA लिखा हुआ है. Then glycosis लिखा हुआ है GLI sequel of
perinatal insult. तो उसको लग रहा है MRI में उसको बर्थ का टाइम ऑक्सीजन कम होके HI
वो प्रीमेच्योर हुआ था सर, 8वें महीने में हो गया था वो, उसको सीजरियन से निकाला था. देन उसको ऑक्सीजन नहीं पहुंचा था, तो उसके ना नाल में ऐसे गले में दो ऐसे रोल था, डॉक्टर से बाहर निकला. 16 ग्राम का ही हुआ था. वो लंबे का हो गया सर. तो डॉक्टर ना मैंने जयपुर में डॉक्टर शरद शर्मा पीडियाट्रिक्स विद न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट उनको दिखाया था, तो उन्होंने 2 दवाइयों का सजेस्ट किया है और विद वो फिजियोथेरेपी, उसको रेगुलर जाती हूँ लेके फिजियोथेरेपी. तो सर दवाइयाँ का जो ट्रीटमेंट चल रहा है वो ठीक है या और कोई भी लेना है? तो मैं नाम बताऊं दवाइयों का?
बता सकते.
TRIHEXY 3C PHENIDLY.
ठीक है.
हाइड्रोक्लोराइड लिखा हुआ है. हाँ. दूसरा वाला है वो है बैक्लोफिन. बैक्लोफिन टैबलेट.
ये दोनों मेडिसिन उसको स्टिफनेस होता है ना, हाथ पर टाइट लग रहे हैं, उस वजह से दिया है, तो कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं.
ओके सर, वो पाँव को सीजर बना लेता है, ऐसे खड़ा होने पे पाँव को सीजरिंग करता है वो.
सीजरिंग का मेडिसिन उसी का दिया है उसको, जन्म का टाइम प्रॉब्लम उसी का दिया, उसको कंटिन्यू करना, उसके साथ फिजियोथेरेपी करना.
ओके
सर. और क्या उससे बेटर कर सकती हूँ मैं सर? थोड़ा बता दीजिए, कहाँ दिखा सकती हूँ उसको, और कहीं और हॉस्पिटल में या
आप ऑलरेडी दिखा रहे पीडियाट्रिक न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट को, ये तो कंटिन्यू करना. सो ऑलरेडी मेडिसिन दे रहे, फिजियोथेरेपी रेगुलर करना है, थोड़ा लंबा टाइम लगता है इम्प्रूवमेंट होने में. ऑलरेडी मेडिसिन दे रहे और ऑलरेडी MRI सब किया ना, ये तो कंटिन्यू करना.
सर वो फ्यूचर में चलने लग गया ना, चलेगा तो सही नहीं है फ्यूचर में?
यूजुअली चलेगा, बट एक बच्चे को टाइम लगता है, 4 साल 5 साल तक चलेगा.
Okay, sir, due to some lack of timing, we will take only 2 more questions.
Okay.
So next we have Pravitra.
Hello, good evening,
yes.
Sir.
Good evening.
My baby is 2 years 2 months old.
Okay.
She's like delayed in milestones, sir.
Okay.
So we did an MRI. There is no any harm to the brain. But the only thing is delayed myelination.
Okay.
And she's having a cortical visual impairment.
Okay.
So I'm taking therapies for CVI.
Okay.
And she's walking.
Yeah.
And most of the time she's not talking. The expressive language is not there still.
Okay. Okay.
Still happening. and she is diagnosed as GDD.
Okay.
So, so I don't know whether she falls into ASD or AHD. What is her future? It's just a question mark for me. That's
So usually we will not label as an ASD or ADHD. This child may be delayed milestone in other domains also with vision issues also. Okay, and you were telling delayed myelination, maybe sometimes related to brain problem at the time of delivery, or you need to see if it is there, it is okay, it will improve. Or if it is brain issue at the time of birth was not there, it may require further test to find out the reason. But usually they will improve vision and other things. It may take time. But you will not label as an ASD or ADHD.
okay.
Okay. Next we have Dr. Saranjali. Ma'am, you can ask your question.
हेलो
Yes.
यस सर मेरा बेटा 4.8 इयर्स का है हाइपोक्सिक ब्रेन इंजरी था सर एट द बर्थ टाइम सर अभी डायग्नोसिस ऑटिज्म किया है सर अभी सर मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि उसका स्पीच डिले अभी भी है और रिपीटेटिव बिहेवियर भी अभी भी है
ओके
सर मेडिसिन उसको अभी कोई बोला नहीं है सर पर फिर भी ये कम हो जाएगा रिपीटेटिव बिहेवियर एंड स्पीच कब इम्प्रूव होगा
So usually hypoxic hypoglycemia इंजरी बोल रहे हैं उसको as already told उसको ब्रेन ग्लूकोज कम होके प्रॉब्लम हुआ है रिपीटेटिव बिहेवियर थोड़ा होता है यूजुअली उसको मेडिसिन को जरूरत नहीं इफ इज कॉजिंग रिपीटेटिव बिहेवियर उनको दूसरा चीज नहीं सीखना चाहिए इज इंटरप्टिंग विद अदर डेवलपमेंटल माइलस्टोन्स then you need to give medication but other than that you need to concentrate more on occupational therapy and behavioral therapy also so that he will improve with that also his behavior should be improved so that afterwards maybe speech therapy also requires once his concentration improves and medication may requires based on his severity of repetitive behaviors if mild once in a while it is okay but it's too much causing interruption then it may require some amount of medication also.
Okay sir is there any role of ozone therapy in case of this autism?
No, currently there is no scientific evidence that it will going to improve.
Okay, and what about stem cell therapy?
Same thing also. Same thing. Currently not advisable on those therapies.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request to Mr. Rajesh to please give a note of thanks to our doctor.
Thank you, doctor. Thanks for your valuable time. So addressing the entire crowd. So with the topic of like ADHD, really that was a great session. And so I think many parents have some more queries. I think we have requested them to drop us a mail with their queries. So soon we will be reaching out you for to address the same thing. So thanks for this wonderful session, doctor. So
thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you all the participants and parents for joining. Have a wonderful evening.
And for all the parents, so shortly we will be updating this recorded video in our YouTube page. So probably if you have any queries, probably you can have a look at that as well. Okay. Thank you, doctor. Thanks for your valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you.